texting you that.
No.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to another edition of Curveball Convos with your boys at Carolina Curveball. Got a good show for you tonight. And, folks, most importantly, we are in May, which means this is the month of the coveted selection show where we find out where all our teams will go, where our travel plans will be, amongst a lot of other things. Tonight, three-man crew, myself, Casey Ramaley, Braxton, and Reed. Braxton, how's it going, sir?
Going good, man. I was able to get out to the Bosch yesterday, and I mean, it just has to be said. Yesterday was absolutely perfect weather. I'm hoping we can get a little bit of what we had yesterday for the regionals because it was 60s, 70s, and it was just gorgeous out. So hopefully, I know typically it's pretty hot at the regionals, in June. I'm hoping maybe we can get some of this nice April and May weather to leak into the regional play because it was just a perfect day at the ballpark yesterday.
Reed Tobin?
Yeah, I think Braxton says it's best. Besides a little rainy Saturday, I mean, the weather was spectacular this weekend, and that would be awesome if we could get some 70s for regional play and not sweating our ass off. But, yeah.
No, it's going to be either 95 degrees or pouring rain and no in between. So,
yeah,
that's what it's been in years past. But let's go ahead and get into it. The weekend recap. Does this count as my bold prediction hitting as Clemson takes the series versus BC? I say Clemson sweep, but does this count as my bold prediction hitting a little bit, Reed?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, it's only their second ACC series win of the year. I'm correct on that, right, Braxton?
Yes.
Yep. Their first one was Stanford.
Yeah, that's right. Much needed. They showed some life there yesterday, trailing BC 3-0 and coming back to win that. Jaron Purify had some clutch hits for them down the stretch. And, maybe this sprinkles a little life into the Clemson program. Their RPI is still in a good spot, but they still have a lot of work to do. I mean, I still think they need to sweep their next two ACC series that put them at 14 and 16. That would probably be good enough, just judging by what the committee has did with teams with such a high RPI in the past in the ACC and SEC.
And they were led by Nate Savoy. Had a great weekend this week, 5 for 13, 3 RBIs, 2 runs, a home run, and a double. Good stuff on the mound. They're now tied for last in the ACC at 8 and 16 overall. To touch on the other ACC series, Wake Forest swept Louisville. Reed. Crazy game on Friday as it is a walk-off hit by pitch in extra innings there. Wild there. Wake Forest loads the bases and they get hits by pitch to clinch the series. And then they sweep them. And then they sweep Louisville. And then the other one, Braxton, NC State, a wild game on Friday, the game one, just crazy back and forth game in game one, and we'll kind of start there.
Yeah, honestly, all 3 games of that series were like that. They were some crazy games in Raleigh this weekend, and I think this was a must-win series for NC State. I mean, it definitely was. It was a season-saving, season-defining series. They had to pull it out, and they did. They get amazing performances out of their middle infield, Luke Nixon. And how about Christian Serrano stepping up? The true freshman had a tremendous week at the plate. He played, I think, his first start. I don't know if it was his first, but he started the midweek against ECU, played pretty well on defense. And then the bat came alive this weekend against Miami with a huge home run in that first game of the doubleheader. And then Luke Nixon had 2 massive home runs in the rubber match that kind of bolted them into winning that series. So yes, they've had the injury issues on the mound, State, but I think with if they can finish the season around 3-3 in their last 2 ACC series, obviously they have North Carolina at home, and then I think they go to Stanford, right? Is their
Correct.
other series. So
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
they're right on the bubble right now, but this series definitely keeps them there instead of drops them off on the other side of it, I think. So while Miami has got some work to do, I think even maybe after they drop the series, maybe not so much, but the Kube injury I think is kind of killing them right now. But yeah, I mean, they came alive when they had to this weekend, so I'm really impressed. They're going to get healthier too.
Tobin, what's your take on NC State's race to the finish line? They're now 12-12 in the ACC.
Yeah, I think Braxton says it's best. Really good week for the Pack. Domination against the Pirates on Tuesday night, and then they carried that into this weekend too. With the limited arms they've had, I'm just really impressed with Serrano. I think Braxton makes all good points on him. His glove had showed. He flashed that against ECU on Tuesday, and then hits his first career home run this weekend too. But I'll just touch on Wake too. That's a really loud statement sweep. Coming off last week getting swept against Georgia Tech in the fashion they did, the way they were able to respond, including the midweek win against a really good a hot App State team, and then overcoming Tig Davis. I think it felt like he hit 20 home runs this weekend. But yeah, I mean, all those games were really entertaining too. You mentioned the walk off on Friday; they walked it off on Thursday too. But yeah, overall, really good week for Wake and really good week for State. Much needed for both teams.
Much needed for both teams indeed. Javier Williams for Wake Forest, 9 for 16 RBI, 6 runs scored, 2 doubles, 2 walks, 2 stolen bases. Boston Torres, it's been a real good impact transfer for them. Went 5 for 11, 4 RBIs, 2 runs, 2 home runs, and a walk. So nice weekend there for those ACC squads. To move it to the Sun Belt, Coastal Carolina, once again, Reed, drops a Sunday game. They dropped the second game of the doubleheader, but they did clinch the series in the first one. Big week for Coastal, but not the best ending.
No, they really, they after the dominating win Tuesday night up in Chapel Hill, this weekend's performance was a bit disappointing. Yes, they win the series, but me and Braxton watched that game on Friday. It was the first game up. I mean, they should have lost that game. They were down 7-3 going into the eighth. Credit to them for coming back and winning that. And then yesterday, Cam Flukie, he starts the second game of the doubleheader, and Georgia Southern just tattooed him all day. He only went 2 1/3. I mean, I know they had him on a pitch count, but they were definitely going to let him pitch some more. I mean, he gave up 4 hits, 6 earned runs. I think he just needs some more reps. He's just trying to get his feel back out there on the mound. But I mean, Coastal, I would have expected a sweep against a really bad Georgia Southern team.
Yeah, they're not ideal, and it was a real RPI tank. Braxton, don't know the exact points, but it definitely did tank the RPI. I mean, talk about a roller coaster. It jumps up for North Carolina, the win versus North Carolina, and then tanks for Georgia Southern.
Yeah, I think they dropped down to like 17 range, somewhere in there. So still top 20. Should still be comfortably in the hosting picture, I would say. But like Reed said, they nearly did drop the series. And I almost think it's a bit of a good thing for Coastal, just from the standpoint of like to get punched in the mouth is good, because I mean you think back to last season and they finished the season on such a hot streak in the Sun Belt that obviously they rode the high all the way to Omaha, but I think it's just a good reminder for them that you've got to bring it every day, even if against weaker competition, because they're the last thing they want to do is slip up against a 4 seed in the first game in their regional and have to work harder to win to get out of their regional. So it's obviously a tough loss. I mean, you win the series, you have a good week, you beat Carolina, so it's still positives from the Coastal perspective. But again, maybe a good thing that they kind of get humbled here a little bit, just to kind of remind themselves, hey, we've got to bring it every day, and can't take it for granted just because we won 30 games in a row at the end of last year or whatever it was. So Yeah, but credit to Georgia Southern playing a good series against them. I think like we mentioned before the season, teams play up to their competition here when they play Coastal. They have that target on their back now. So they've got to be ready to roll with the punches every time they step foot out there.
Coastal has a 3-game lead in the Sun Belt over Southern Miss at 19-5. Excuse me, Southern Miss 16-8, and hey, there's App State solo third, 15-9. We will get to their nice series win later. Queens drops it to West Georgia. Queens falls to 9-15 in the A-Sun, 13-33 overall. Unfortunate for them. Do they have a midweek game this week?
Yeah, they play Duke,
At,
I think.
at
But
Duke.
I think they'll play that one. But unfortunate for me, I had Queens sweeping as my bold prediction. Didn't work out. Who was it? They had one guy on the honor roll. Anibal Rivera, 4 for 10, 6 RBIs, 2 homers. So good week for him.
Very good.
Yeah, I mean, if we just to touch on Queens real quick, I mean, they've had a better season than they did last season. So I think that's a positive. I'm not sure how the A-Sun tournament works, but I don't imagine they're in it if not everyone makes it. Something I'll have to look into, but I don't imagine them winning that either. But you never say never. So wouldn't it be something if they stuck into that?
I'm looking it up right now. The format of the.
I mean,
they're not. Each
we've
team
never really had to look up the format.
Yeah, each team will be seeded 1 through 4 in each division.
Okay.
So the top 8 make it. So they're not in it. They're not in it, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now on the A-Sun page. Unfortunate for them. Moving on to the Big South, Winthrop takes the series versus UNC Asheville. Asheville does win the Sunday game, but Reed, this was big because, I mean, if Winthrop gets this last one, though, they then have a 2-game lead over High Point because High Point shockingly dropped this series versus Longwood. So High Point's at 12-6, Winthrop's at 13-5. You also got Longwood hanging down there at 10-8, and also don't look too far behind you because Braxton's alma mater, USC Upstate, is at 11-10 right there. Looking, Reed. It's going to be a close race to the finish line here.
Yeah, it was a good bounce back, much needed for Winthrop. They had been struggling there the past 2 weeks, and they've got the advantage in their hand right now for these final 2 weeks. Yes, they have the big one against High Point the last weekend of the regular season, but they just need to continue to come out and take business. You want to have the 1 seed going into that tournament.
Braxton, your thoughts on the Big South race?
Yeah, I think it's a huge win for Winthrop to get the 1 seed control. Going into I know they have a huge series against High Point coming up in the tail end of the season. So Longwood's impressed me all year. I mean, I'm kind of not surprised. We'll touch on that series when we get to it, but I'm not that surprised that they went into High Point and beat High Point Upstate with the massive sweep that they needed desperately. But I just want to touch on Asheville yesterday with the 9-0 win. I think it was Cooper Smith complete game shutout, which was really impressive to shut out this Winthrop offense. He was on the honor roll. But Asheville's hanging. I don't think they're going to make the tournament, the Big South tournament, but I think technically they still could. But they're going to need a very, very good end of the season, which I don't see for them happening. But yeah, nonetheless, like Reed said, good for Winthrop to bounce back as they've been struggling as of late because they lost in the midweek too to A&T, but they do enough to get back into our rankings at the 11th spot with some other teams dropping series. So
UNC Asheville is also going to need some help from some other teams to drop some games. Not only they don't really control their own destiny because they're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
There's just
Gardner Webb,
Radford
drop some games, so unfortunately not in their hands down the stretch. What is in someone's hands is Campbell, and they clinched this weekend, correct, Braxton, the CAA?
Yeah, the CAA South.
Yeah.
Or whatever. They have the best record in the CAA by far.
They have a 9-game lead in the CAA South, and they have a 6-game lead in the CAA as a whole at 23-4, 33-14 overall. And Reed, how many games in a row have they won?
They have won 8 in a row. They are the hottest
Attaboy.
team in the Carolinas right now.
Yep.
I mean, all what they did was, I mean, as you expected, playing A&T, second time they've played them in a series this year. And, you know, they did exactly what they did about a month and a half ago. It's just hit the ball all weekend. I mean, and then, you know, coming off that really good win against High Point, too, on Tuesday night on their home field. So, yeah, I mean, the Camels are flying high right now.
Camels are flying high indeed. And Braxton, that was your bold prediction, correct?
Yeah, my bold prediction was that they would make a regional. So I'm hoping that they can just finish the job here and win the CAA. It's going to be tough, you know, on the road, especially if they match up with Wilmington at their home field. So, you know, I'm confident that that still will hit. I think it was Tech that actually had them to win the CAA regular season or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I've been high on this Camel team all year, and like Reed said, they come out and hit the ball every time they've had to do so against a weaker opponent. Joey Morton with a huge week; he had 4 homers. Lugo, who was our player of the week last week, turned it around, or excuse me, followed that up with another good week at the plate, the freshman. So I've just been really impressed with their lineup all year. And then I think I mentioned the key for them was pitching many weeks ago, and David Rosal has been that guy for them starting and they've had some really good veteran bullpen type arms that have done really well for them as well. So, yeah, I think it was senior day as well this weekend. So I think they'll be on the road to finish the season, which I think we saw they're going to be in Wilmington the last
Correct.
week
Yeah,
or whatever.
next weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hopefully they finish it strong and take care of business and win the CA like they should, and we get them back in a regional.
They got a bizarre week this week. They play at Charlotte again, and
Yeah.
then they play
They play
Bradley.
Gardner Webb tournament.
Yeah, and then 2 games against Bradley, and then a game against Gardner Webb.
The Bradley games are at. I think Garnet Webb's hosting.
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Bizarre,
weird.
but
I know Kayson's not going to like that.
It's going to be fun to make on the slate, folks.
Yeah.
For those who want to peek behind the curtain. But we will deal with that when the time comes. Reed, some positive news out of your city.
yeah.
Are the 49ers back?
Maybe they just needed to get out of the month of April. Appears what it was. But I mean, what a huge weekend it was for them. Dominating Tulane all weekend. Ryan Combs, he had a really good outing for them. Yesterday, 7 innings pitched, 9 strikeouts, 3 hits to complete the sweep. And this moves Charlotte into the top 8 in the American. They hold the tiebreaker against Tulane and South Florida, who they're tied with. Huh?
I said, yeah, in South Florida.
Yeah. At 8 and 13. I mean, that's huge. You just want to get in the top 8. I mean, we've seen what this team's capable of. Obviously, the first month and a half of the season when they got off to a great start. I mean, they had the talent. I mean, if they keep this up, I mean, they'll be a tough out in the American tournament.
Yeah, they're a team you don't want to play in the tournament because the guys like Alec DiMartino and Cody Gunderson. DiMartino went 7-14, 3 RBIs, 4 runs, a home run. Cody Gunderson also had a home run and 5 RBIs on the week. Braxton, they have guys up and down their lineup, and hopefully they can get it clicking here down the stretch so we can have our 2 American teams make the conference tournament and hopefully clash in the first or second round.
Yeah, I think ECU would feel confident playing them in the tournament. But certainly, like you said, it's good to see. I think Reed's right. They just had to get out of the month of April because we know they have talent. You mentioned DiMartino, Gunderson, some other players in there that have had good seasons. I mean, they just kind of hit a skid here over the last month that's kind of derailed their season. But like you say, anything can happen in the tournament. So we need them to get hot again. I don't think they're gonna win the tournament. But you just never know what could happen. Like I said, I think they're talented enough to do so. But good to see them sweep Tulane. I think that's a huge first step in kind of turning the season around because you're running out of time to do so. And like you said, they are now in a position to make it down to Clearwater, which I didn't even know that until you said that. So that's great news that they have the tiebreaker.
at UAB this weekend, and then Memphis to close. So certainly this weekend's going to be a challenge, but it's certainly doable.
Certainly doable indeed. The Citadel sweeps Presbyterian. Braxton got some highlight pitching performances. Trip Brown, Will Holmes, and Andrew Buffkin had really good performances here. Trip Brown made the honor roll. 2 appearances, 9 innings, 7 Ks, 0 earned, 4 hits, and a win. Will Holmes, 7 innings, 8 Ks, 2 earned, 5 hits, and a win. And then Andrew Buffkin, 5 1/3, 6 Ks, 0 earned, 1 hit, and a win. Braxton, no matter all 3 years of curveball, they may not be able to score a lot of runs, but they can stop you from scoring runs.
Yeah, this pitching staff's been phenomenal over the last couple of years. Making a case to be ranked. I know there's some mentions on our rankings today wanting Citadel in there. I think they're right there. The week they had, to beat South Carolina, which is a huge win for the program. PC obviously is a series that you should sweep. This was kind of a weird series because I know they were planning to play games 2 and 3 at their home field, but the weather made it so that they ended up playing all 3 games at Presbyterian instead of just the game 1. So I don't know if that kind of worked to their advantage or not, but they certainly played like it. They Presbyterian couldn't get anything going on this pitching staff offensively, from what I was keeping up with, and Citadel was able to do enough offensively to kind of just make it work. And like you said, if they get any sort of offense, this is a scary team as well. But they can make some noise in the SoCon. They've done it all year. They've played a tough schedule, which I think really helps them in down the stretch. And I don't know what they have to finish, but I think that they could be a threat down there in the SoCon tournament. You never know, especially since they have this depth of pitching that we're talking about. Like, that's what you need to win in the tournament is pitching depth, and I think it's probably one of their strong suits.
I agree. And as you look at the SoCon, they're sitting at 6-9 in the SoCon, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams above them, all at 9-6. And then you got Western Carolina atop at 12-6.
Yeah.
So if Wofford, Sanford, Mercer, or ETSU slip up, maybe they can get some better seedings. Unsure about the format of this tournament. We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
They end with Sanford and then at VMI. So they've definitely got a chance here to, play their way into top 4 here.
The problem with these tournaments is the freaking format changes like every year. So you have to just constantly be keeping up with it. I think maybe it would be worth some time for us to go through maybe together this week and figure out all the formats so we can figure out who's going to be in, how it's going to work. Because like I said, they just change every year. It's tough to keep up with. I think there's been some talk around college baseball about getting rid of conference tournaments. I don't know how serious that topic can become, but it does kind of get messy, but I think you have to have them. Maybe you just kind of make it a regional type deal where you just have the top 4 teams of the conference and play a regional. That could be an option, but it is kind of fun to get the Cinderella every now and then, like Tulane the one year when they had not a lot of wins, and teams can make runs. It's just very difficult too with some of these formats. It's just
it looks like I'm looking at it right now. It looks like all 8 teams make it.
Yes, all 8 teams do make it. It's 2 brackets. First 2 are single elimination, first 2 games, and then it goes into I don't know. College, there needs to be a conversation about what we're doing with these conference tournaments because it's ridiculous, honestly, to be completely honest with you. But as Reed said, all 8 of the teams in SoCon will make the tournament, so it's really just about seeding from there. Davidson drops the series to Richmond. Disappointing here. Tobin Davidson playing some better baseball of late, but they lose to the Spiders. I'm looking up the A10 standings right now, Reed.
Yeah, I believe it dropped them, losing the series. I think VCU passed them, and now Richmond's just a game back.
Yeah, they're tied. They're both tied at 15-9. Richmond's at 14-10.
Okay. Yeah.
St. Joe is running away with it at 22-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they clinched it. Had to clinch. They have 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to have clinched it, but disappointing there from Davidson. Elon with a nice series win over William and Mary. Elon at 10-17 overall. William and Mary 11-13. Elon, Tommy Mitchell for Elon had a nice pitching performance. 6 innings, 7 Ks, 1 earned, 5 hits, and a win. And Jared Hall for Elon, 6 for 13, 8 RBIs, a home run, 2 runs, 2 triples, a walk, and a stolen base. So nice there from Elon. Still 1 game back from William and Mary in the CAA South, but they're 7 games ahead of North Carolina A&T. Good grief. But the real shocker of the weekend, I think it was a shocker, is Longwood defeating High Point at High Point, Braxton. Longwood moves to 10-8 in the Big South. High Point at 12-6, 1 game back from Winthrop. And kind of all roads are leading towards that matchup to determine who's the Big South champion.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that matchup. But like I said, Longwood, they're right there in third place. I mean, they're very good. Me and Reed have both been impressed by this Longwood team. I think ever since when they played a midweek against North Carolina, when I got to watch them kind of, firsthand, I was really impressed with some of their hitters. They had really good at bats against, a great pitching staff in Carolina that we know. And I was surprised that they went into High Point and took the series a little bit. High Point's been a team that's played very, very well at home. The last couple years when they've had these breakout seasons, they're tough to beat in High Point for sure. But Joey Hammond, I mean, they're so well coached. I think they're going to be fine. It's just one you kind of have to forget about because you're going to be 1 or 2 seed in the Big South, assuming you don't slip up too much and have Longwood steal the 2 seed or anything like that. But I think that Winthrop series is going to be huge. Is that at Winthrop or is it at High Point?
I'll check that right now.
That's huge. And I think Winthrop's kind of been not as good on the road, and High Point plays really good at home. So,
correct me. It's this weekend, and it's at High Point.
Yeah, so I like High Point at home there just in terms of I think they're really – I know that barring this weekend, I think that might have been the first weekend series they've lost at home all year.
Yeah, and Winthrop plays Longwood too the week after. So
tough,
very difficult.
Tough ending for Winthrop. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm sure that will be on the Pick'em next week. Obviously, they both will have midweek games, which we'll get into in the preview. But, I mean, that's going to be awesome. That is the Big South Series this year. It is what it is. I think those are the best 2 teams. They've played like it all year, and I look for High Point to bounce back, especially after dropping this one.
High Point ends with at Asheville, so I mean you got to think it's going to come down to this weekend. I would think High Point would sweep at Asheville, and then that's a really tough series to finish with Winthrop.
It kind of reminds me, Reed, of when I don't know how late in the season this was, but 2 years ago when it was Upstate and High Point.
Yeah.
Going head to head as 1 and 2 at Upstate, and we had just a bombs galore at that.
Yeah.
I don't remember how late that was in the year. It might have been a little earlier than this, but it just kind of the clash of the Big South Titans a little bit. So it's going to be really exciting. I'll definitely be having my eyes on that this weekend. We'll get more into it in our preview show of the weekend, but.
Braxton, you touched on it a minute ago. Winthrop 28-1 at home, 8-10 on the road. High Point 18-7 at home, 11-9 on the road. High Point's 11-9 on the road is actually pretty good. It's the only above 500 record. And Upstate's, goodness gracious.
What did you say Winthrop's home record was?
21-8.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
28-1. I was
yeah.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Yeah. I was like, I watched the only home loss they had. Okay.
No, but excuse me. Listen to this one. Listen to Upstage, Braxton. At home, they're 12-4. On the road, they're 9-22.
Yeah, they've played a lot of road games.
They've played a lot of road games.
I remember non-con, they played almost every series on the road, it felt like, other than the Spartanburg Classic.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was by design, but yeah, certainly I think everyone plays better at home for the most part, but there's some teams that are just really, really strong at home. I'm surprised High Point's home record isn't better than that. 11-7.
agree.
I would have thought it would have been a little better, but it feels like it anyway, doesn't it? So I guess Rapid beat them a couple and someone else.
I agree. UNCG sweeps VMI. Talk about a fall from grace for VMI to open.
Yeah.
VMI at the beginning of the year was like a pretty good team, pretty good record. They're now 1-9 in their last 10, 3-12 in the SoCon, dead last. UNCG 6-12, 20-28 overall. Got some highlight performances. Jacob Budzik for UNCG had 9 RBIs, 2 home runs. Jacob Dilly, 5 RBIs, 2 home runs. Luke Jenkins, 3 RBIs, 7 runs scored, and a home run. And also,
Chapman again.
Yes, Chapman again. He's been on before. 7 innings, 7 Ks, 1 earned, 7 hits, and a win. But Reed, nice win, nice series win here for UNCG and VMI. I mean, talk about just falling off planet Earth.
Well, yeah, first with UNCG, they're playing better baseball. That's 5 wins in a row for them. And then, just VMI. I mean, they arguably played one of the worst non-conference schedules of all time. So I mean, that was part of the reason for the hot start until they got into the bulk of conference play. But that's still a really good weekend for Greensboro, to sweep a conference opponent.
They're probably the only team in the SoCon that I give 0 chance of winning the tournament. VMI.
VMI, yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at their wins. They stacked up wins against Delaware State, Maryland Eastern Shore, Stonehill, Western Illinois Cornell to start the season.
Didn't Maryland Eastern Shore not win a game 2 years ago?
I think it was last year.
I don't know if they like had a losing. I think they were 0 and something for a long time.
0-40. I think it was they had lost. They were like 0-48 last year. They were like 4-50 the year before.
Hold on.
So bad.
So this year, oh my God, this year they're 8-33. Last year they were 7-41. And nope, yep. In 2024 they were 0-48.
Okay.
Oh.
I mean, let's just take a moment here. This is 0-48. I'm sorry. None of these games, most of these games were not close. I'm looking at them.
No, yeah, it was bad.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can continue. Let's move to the positive and SoCon. Actually, Western Carolina tightens its grip on the SoCon as they move to 12-6, 3-game lead over the 4 teams below them, which are Wofford, Stanford, Mercer, ETSU. But this Western team, Braxton, I think they are destined to make the tournament, and I think they are destined to upset someone in a regional.
Yeah, I love it. That was another one of my bold predictions was for them to win the SoCon. They are now in a great position to do so. They still have a tough stretch to finish off, but winning the series at Wofford was huge. They dropped game 1, which was a huge win for Wofford, and you're thinking, hey, I did not expect them to kind of flip the series like that, and they were able to do so. Who was it that had
Alex Bouchard on
Bouchard
Wofford?
He has been tremendous all year. First of all, for Wofford, I think he's won Pitcher of the Week once or twice, at least honor roll twice, and he struck out 14 guys, giving up 1 earned run, 2 hits against this Western lineup that has hit almost everyone they faced. It feels like, and I was just really impressed with that stat line. But it seems like Western. This was a lower scoring series than I thought it would be. Oh, by the way, who won the Coastal Runs? We need to do that because I guess.
Oh, I wrote that down.
I think I had the lowest, and they.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, they were a lot lower
How
than
many
I
did
thought.
they score?
14-4 on this, and then what was the game 1?
And then 8. I think it was 8.
So yeah, 26.
Braxton, you had
26.
You had 30. You had 31 runs. I had 33.
Yeah.
Tobin had 37. Colby had 42.
But anyways, back to Western. Noah Corliss had a good week at the plate, and then Mason Snyder had another good outing for them on the mound. So, yeah, I mean, I think these two teams will definitely meet again in the SoCon tournament, if I had to guess. I think they're two of the better teams. I mean, you've got Mercer in there as well. Citadel, like Reed said, UNCG is getting hotter. ETSU is a good team. Sanford's a dangerous team. Just like I just said, BMI is the only team in this league that I give no chance. Everyone else can win on their day. I think that's fair to say.
It's going to be a really fun conference tournament to keep track. And then, not to mention, though, Western, they only have one SoCon series left against Greensboro next week.
Right.
They go to Winston-Salem this weekend. So is Wake on upset alert?
Absolutely.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, I could see Western taking one.
I mean, Western beat Georgia. Like, I can easily see them beating Wake.
One, I don't think they'll win the series, but I mean, I absolutely could see them winning like Sunday or something like that.
Yeah. If they won the series, that would be a huge statement.
Yeah.
And also just bad for Wake.
I mean, their RPI would skyrocket. I mean, they'd be borderline near at large if they won the series at Wake.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm pulling for, honestly. So.
That will be something. Sidebar here. Just took a little wormhole in Maryland Eastern Shore some more. They've won more than 15 games one time in the last 16 years. And also their RBI leader in 2024, the 0-48 season. Guess how many RBIs he had? The season leader for that team.
Wait, how many
20,
games? How many games?
18.
48 games.
Yeah, I'll go
18.
21.
24 RBIs. Their leading guy their best ERA guy with minimum 30 pitches, 30 innings pitched, was 8. Okay, back to our stuff. I was just fascinated by it. I'm sorry. That's just unbelievable. I don't get how you can do that. But Braxton, App State team you've been high on, said it time and time again. Great series win for them. Tobin said it wasn't possible, and Tobin, they did it.
Credit to you, Jason. You were the only one to go right App State. I wanted to so bad. I didn't think they'd go down to Troy and do it, and they do it on the first 2 games. So, and both of them were from behind, I believe, too, or at least the Friday game was.
Well, it got rained out Friday. That first game on Saturday of the doubleheader, they were down, I think 5-2 in the 7th, and then erupted for 11 runs in the 7th to blow that game open. I know Steven Smith, he had a bases clearing triple or double, I can't remember off the top of my head. And then, Gage Peterson backed it up too with another dominant showing. I mean, that is such a great series win. I mean, they are on fire right now. I'm just so impressed. Yeah, I'm so impressed, to go down, Troy being one of the top hitters in the Sun Belt, historically, and to go down there and I mean, that's not an easy place to play. To go down there and win that series, just very impressive.
Do you know it would be absolutely electric?
What?
It's not possible this year. Could you imagine a regional in Boone with that?
That'd be sick.
That scene. That would be unbelievable. A regional in Boone. Wouldn't that be? It's not happened this season, but I'm saying, like, wouldn't that be unbelievable? How cool that would be up there in Boone.
I mean, we've talked about how impressed we've been with their fans this year. I mean, they've shown out to these, not even just midweek games, like on the weekends too, like in these Sun Belt series. Like, I've been really impressed with, them filling out that stadium, and I mean, that's certainly a cool talking point for the future. I don't know. I mean, they're in a great league to do so. I mean, you think about Southern Miss and Coastal, who hosts year in and year out almost. Maybe they can get to that level. They're certainly on the way. Catamounts are looking strong. Yeah.
Chad with a nice comment. Catamounts looking strong. Right time of the year. That is correct, Chad. I'm hoping they win the tournament so they will make it. And go ahead and write it down right now. They will win a game in a regional without a doubt, in my opinion. Reed, the roller coaster continues for UNC Wilmington. Dropped the series to College Charleston, moved to 14-10 in the CAA, 26-20 overall. I mean, Reed, one day this team looks like they can maybe make a run in the CAA and beat Campbell, And then the next day, they drop a series to Elon in Stony Brook.
Yeah, they've been really inconsistent, this past month or so. But credit to Charleston, for taking that series too. Carson Bryant, he had a really good outing for the Cougars, and then Ethan Plyer was solid at the plate. But I'm just looking at a Wilmington standpoint. The offense really let them down again. That's been the case. We've touched on their pitching staff all season, how good it's been and everything, but they only scored 9 runs this weekend. I mean, that's not going to cut it against Charleston. Charleston, we mentioned, I know they got swept last weekend against Campbell, but they've been playing a much better baseball, Braxton and Kaysen, these past 4 weeks or so. I still think they can make some noise in the CAA tournament.
Braxton, do you have anything?
No, yeah, disappointing again from Wilmington. They've kind of been on a little bit of a roller coaster here recently. They bounced back last week against Elon, which I thought their troubles would continue, but
Did we lose everybody?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm back.
Braxton, you good?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we lost everybody. It's all good. We're back, folks.
Anyways,
technical difficulties. Go ahead.
On Wilmington, I think they've got to find it here. I think it's kind of a good spot for them to be able to play Campbell right before the tournament. I think just to kind of get to know, who's going to be the favorite in that tournament. You get to play them on the field you're going to be playing the tournament at. So that's going to be a huge series for them to just kind of turn it around. But I just don't see it. I think Campbell's just way better than them. And that's no disrespect to UNCW. I think they're a great team as well, but they've been too inconsistent, whereas Campbell's just kind of beat everyone in their path this year. And it might just be their year. But you never know. I mean, UNCW being at home and this kind of the league that runs through them for the most part the last 5 years, they're going to want to win this tournament. So it's going to be that's another one just kind of like the SoCon that's going to be fun to watch.
What was not fun to watch, if you're a Blue Devil fan, just absolute shellacking the Heels put on the Blue Devils. Tobin, I did not watch any of this, but I did check the score and it was just like, sheesh.
Yeah, I'll let Braxton. He was at the game, so I'll let him touch on it before I give my thoughts.
Yeah, like you said, Kaysen, I mean, it was really over before it even got started. 6th spot in the first. And just on Duke real quick before I get to the Heels, like they looked horrible pitching and catching as we've gone over their catching situation. Their pitching was dreadful. They were hitting batters, walking batters. I think they started Lemke, and then I think they had 3 or 4 pitchers in the first inning alone. Like it was just a bad outing. And then defensively as well, they were making errors. They dropped a fly ball in center field. DeMartini, just routine play, dropped it. Their shortstop, on the other hand, was Blamden. He played a fantastic game defensively, but everyone else just seemed like they didn't show up. That was their only game of the week against number 2 team in the country. You'd think they'd be up for it, rivalry type game. They just didn't. I mean, granted the energy got sucked right out of them from a 6-run first inning, but like it was just a poor showing from Duke on Sunday. But on Carolina, they did something I thought they would do. They started they threw all 3 weekend starters, kind of 3 innings apiece. Of course, they only needed to throw Glauber 1 because of the run rule, but DeCaro and Lynch both looked tremendous in their 3 little mini starts. So I was really impressed. The offense was tremendous. I think Macon Winslow deserves a shout against his former team. Every time he was at the plate, it was
6 RBIs.
Yeah, ball to the wall, ball over the wall, single through the hole. I mean, he was just doing things for fun out there, and he had a great game behind the plate as well, catching all those guys. So really good day for him just to kind of, give it to his old team there in Duke. And I think he had a good series against them too last week, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So he's getting hot. I think they moved him down the batting order, which has kind of helped him see better pitches. And they did shift it. They shifted Hole to the 2 hole and Gavin Gallagher to the 3 hole, which I think helped them as well. But Yeah, it was all Carolina, especially, after losing that game to Coastal, kind of getting shellacked there on your home field to bounce back here with your only game of the weekend against Duke before you head into some big series here down the stretch. But yeah, fun game to be at. Like I said, the weather was tremendous. So really good time yesterday at the Bosch.
Yeah, I think Braxton touched on all good points there. Man, Duke is. I mean, this past month, they are bad.
Also say
I
about
hate
Duke,
saying it, but
Reed, this is also first year head coach.
yeah,
Granted, as Braxton said, I mean, Braxton said the pitching was awful, and this is the Wake Forest pitching coach that had Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns, so like it's in there. So, I mean, I think year two they'll maybe turn a corner because look at Campbell.
yeah. I mean, it also didn't help with Pollard leaving as late as he did last year too, and then having to make a quick hire and everything, with the transfer portal. I mean, so yeah, I mean, there was going to be growing pains. I don't know if I expected them to be this bad.
Yeah, I don't think I expected them to be this bad either. I also didn't expect the Pirates to drop a series on the road to Memphis, but then if you look, Reed, they have not won a road series this season and have not won one dating back to April of last year. The Pirates struggling this week as a whole, dropping to NC State and then dropping the series to Memphis. Just not ideal. Cannot have that for the Pirates. They're now 2 games back from UTSA. Just the offense at times can score 10 runs in an inning, and then they will not score more than 1 run in a game. It's very confusing. Cliff Godwin's replying to burners on Twitter. It is the twilight zone for East Carolina baseball. What'd you say, Braxton?
What did he do?
Pirate Gopher tweeted out. I'll read it out right now because I texted Steven about it, and I have some more clarity on it. He Pirate Gopher with the frog emoji as its icon said, breaking, ECU starting pitcher Ethan Norby will miss the remainder of the season due to injury. ECU head coach Cliff Godwin confirmed in post-game comments with the media Sunday after series loss, another major injury-depleted ECU pitching staff. So I texted Steven Igo this, and I said, bro, what? And then Steven said he was even getting texts to see if it was true. So I think the real problem is there are some people out there that read Pirate Gopher and think that is the gospel. And then Cliff Godwin quote tweets it. Ethan Norby is healthy and will pitch this weekend. So sad. This is the world we live in post. Anyone can post anything, we believe it. So I mean, we have our head baseball coach replying to burners. So
Burners don't need to be lying about injuries, man. Like you can go off on the different parts of the game, but let's keep injuries out of it.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. But Tobin, it's looking bleak for the Pirates.
Yeah, I think you sum it up the best there, Kaysen.
I summed it up by that whole situation. That whole situation summed up the ECU season.
Yeah. I think Cliff needs to worry more about getting his team to learn how to play on the road than replying to burners. After last week, we thought they're trending upward, the great 4-0 week last week, dominating South Florida all weekend. And then, they're embarrassed by NC State on Tuesday night. I was still liking their chances this weekend against a pretty poor Memphis team. A series you'd expect to win, if not sweep. It got off to a good start Friday night, dominant start. They scored 6 runs in the first inning. Ryan Towers had his best start of his ECU career. I think he went 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, only gave up 3 hits. And then, the offense hit a stale point on Saturday and Sunday. Norby, he was all right, but, they really hit him. They got to him in the 6th inning there, and the offense was not able to do anything. There were some head-scratching decisions, especially there in the 8th inning when ECU had 2 on. It was 5-3. Braden Burris at the plate. First pitch, he drops a sack bunt, squeeze bunt right to the pitcher. The inning ends. I was quite frustrated watching that. I'm not going to lie. And then they weren't able to get a rally going in the 9th. and then they were just embarrassed yesterday. So yeah, I mean, we're right back to square one. Exactly what I was saying going into last week. ECU's right back on the bubble. We'll see if they can respond this weekend against Rice. I really don't see UTSA slipping up here these next 2 weekends. They've won 18 straight conference series games. ECU is going to have to get a gift for them, and then ECU ends at FAU, and with their road form, I don't think they'll win that series.
I have nothing else to say, Braxton. We can go to the next page. ECU lost to NC State, had an opportunity to respond at Memphis, and they tucked their tail, as they have this season. Braxton, but the good news, your alma mater sweeps Gardner-Webb. Gardner-Webb coming in hot this week, and then get kind of shellacked by Upstate, but huge series sweep for Upstate because Braxton, they're 2 games out from first place in the Big South. Yeah, they are. Winthrop's 13-5. They're 11-10.
Look, it was a much needed sweep. I think they need to just work. Like I said last week, they needed to just worry about getting in the tournament, and I think this weekend is a huge step in doing so. Johnny Sweeney was our player of the week. A tremendous week for him. Finally having a good week with the bat there. He became Upstate's D1 era all-time career leader in home runs, passing my former and his former teammate Grant Sherrod. Shout out to Grant as well, who had that record before. But Upstate needed this weekend. They needed a weekend at home where they just dominated, finally hit the ball consistently, and for all 3 games, did enough to win and sweep. They had other good weeks like Trey Bentley, Preston Lucas, and Wiley Waters in that lineup, all having really good weeks offensively. And this is kind of the Upstate we know. Like, just not just one guy. There's guys all over that lineup that can hit. That's how they win games. That's how they've done it in the past. And it's just kind of the next man up mentality there in that program. And I think, this is a huge, huge series win for you. Series sweep, excuse me, just to kind of turn that season around. And like you said, I don't know what the math is there, but like they're back into the thick of things in the Big South. There was a bit of a scare there that if they don't finish the season strong, they may not even make the tournament. But I think that's kind of sailed a little bit. I think they're going to make the tournament. Can they just continue this? I hope they can. I believe they play a midweek game. I know we're going to get to the midweeks in a second, but I think it's important for them to continue their midweek success too. They've had some good. They've got the season sweep over Western. We know they're capable of beating good teams in the midweek.
At Elon.
Yeah, they're at. I think they're at home though, aren't they?
No, they play Elon again next week at home. Okay. Oh wait, this is in Greenville, South Carolina tomorrow.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, they'll play that game against Elon tomorrow. Hopefully they can. I think it's important for them to take that midweek series very serious and come out on top because they're going to want to continue this momentum going into the next Big South series and then going into the tournament as well.
Yeah, that was much needed. Johnny Sweeney, he's had a really disappointing year at the plate. We've touched on that a little bit. For him to respond and come out and have a huge weekend, that's huge for Upstate. And, just looking at their schedule, they finished with Presbyterian this weekend to wrap up Big South play. So, I would expect them to win that series and clinch their spot in the Big South tournament.
South Carolina gets swept by LSU. LSU 7-12 in the SEC. Reed, are they making the tournament?
No. Never say never with the committee and LSU. So
yeah.
Right now, hell no.
28-21 over. 28-21 overall. South Carolina falls to 5-14, 22-27 overall. Yeah, not much to say. Do you guys have anything on that?
I personally thought that they would compete better than they did. If every game kind of felt the same in this series, LSU would just kind of drag to a lead, and South Carolina just could not hit the ball. I think they had like an 0-for-22 streak at the plate at some point. Like it's been the same issues all year for the Gamecocks. It really is kind of a struggle to watch. And then they have a good week or a winning weekend, we'll call it, and then you think they might turn that into something. And then they're back. They're 0-4. They get the midweek loss to Citadel. They lose to probably arguably the worst LSU team performing-wise in the last 5 years. And
decade.
yeah, so it's just been tough going for the Gamecocks, and it continues here. I think Colby said it a few shows ago, like they need to just hone in on this coaching search as soon as possible. Finish out the season. They'll probably take a loss in Hoover pretty early, I would imagine. Maybe they win a game, maybe they don't, but yeah, it's going to be another rebuild. So it's just how it is right now in Columbia.
Yeah, they scored 4 runs the whole weekend.
Yeah, they could not.
An SEC program.
Yeah.
Scoring 4 runs on a weekend. I mean, that's just pathetic. I mean, and that begs the question, guys. Who won the weekend? Reed, you go first.
Oh man, I'm gonna go with State getting back on track too, including what they did in the midweek. They were sitting right there, kind of the next 4 out, last 4 in a lot of predictions. I think we had them not in the field after on our predictions this week, and against a good Miami team too. I mean, that's much needed. Their RPI took a much needed jump up, but they got to finish strong here these next 2 weeks. At Stanford this weekend's going to be tough. We saw what they did against Florida State 2 weekends ago, and then obviously we all know they end with Carolina next weekend. But yeah, great week for NC State.
Braxton?
I'm going to go Western Carolina. I think it's just this series 1 versus 2 with them in Wofford was huge, and to go do it on the road after dropping game 1 was really impressive. And it just kind of creates some distance for them there, kind of to hopefully take the SoCon. I think with their last SoCon series being UNCG, I know we've talked about UNCG's playing better at the moment, but I think with their last series being UNCG, that's a winnable series for them to kind of just finish it off here and clinch that SoCon regular season. So I think they won the weekend just being that they won the big series there to kind of separate themselves at the top of the summit there, or the SoCon. At the summit of the SoCon, there we go.
I don't have a pretty chalky answer here, but I think it's right. I'm going to say Campbell because they're the first team to clinch a conference in the Carolinas. They clinched the CAA South, which is big. Very happy for them. Bounced back after a rough year. Last year, Chris Marks has done a phenomenal job there. 23-4 on the season in the CAA, 33-14. I got Campbell winning the weekend. And I think there's a lot of success for them to come. I think they're not in that large because of their RPI that sits at 63 because they have a 138 strength of schedule. That is an eyesore, but hey, they're winning. They're winning games and they did well. So clinching the CAA. Now, Braxton, as we preview the midweek, not a massive midweek slate. Start off with UNC Asheville at Western Carolina, Clemson, Coastal Carolina, North Carolina A&T, and NC State canceled their game. Curious why they canceled that. Bizarre. Maybe they sent them $1 million check. Maybe it's raining.
RPI.
Yeah, I'm not
sure why.
I'm not surprised at all that got canceled.
No.
Toby, you didn't pick up on my satire?
No,
I didn't either.
I knew where you were heading. Yeah.
Oh.
I thought you were being serious.
No,
Yeah.
I was not being serious at all.
All right, fair enough.
We all know why they canceled that.
Yeah.
There was no shot they were playing that game. Queens at Duke. If Duke was in contention, this game would not be played either.
Yeah.
Campbell at Charlotte. They've played every single week, I feel like. College of Charleston Southern. I feel like they've played I feel like they've played a lot too.
Yeah.
Elon at Upstate. High Point at Wilmington. High Point at Wilmington, good one. I really like that one. But guess what? Can't watch. Presbyterian at Tennessee.
I mean, surely that's been canceled too.
Yeah, I mean,
why on earth would Tennessee play that game?
Yeah, I mean, they're a bubble team right now. Tennessee, the way they're playing.
Yeah. There's no.
I don't know.
That will be canceled tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Might already have been on.
Yeah, I'm checking right now.
Wednesday at I almost said Wednesday at North Carolina. Well, Wednesday in North Carolina, they host Winthrop and then Wofford at Gardner Webb. I like that Wofford Gardner Webb one.
Gardner Webb blanked them last week, 6-0. So
yeah, so
revenge.
Yeah, the
Like-
Tennessee game is still on. Tennessee and Presbyterian's
Dude,
still on, shockingly.
There's no way.
Granted, didn't they play Asheville not too long ago, and they played that game?
Nah, but I mean that was like 3 weeks ago. Like, I mean, if this is Asheville right here or Presbyterian, just take your pick. I think they're going to do everything they can to either get another opponent or cancel it or whatever. So, and like Reed said, I mean, Tennessee's firmly a bubble team right now. Like they are on the bubble. So the bubble is so big right now. Like anything.
Yeah, I mean, a win for Tennessee. I mean, they're not going to gain RPI points. I mean, Presbyterian's so bad.
Presbyterian
they're
has
not
like one of the worst RPIs in the
Yeah.
Not as bad as Asheville's. Asheville's 284.
Yeah.
Good God. That's something. Boys, of these games, I got my eyes on Clemson, Coastal, and High Point, Wilmington.
Yeah, I think those are the best two. I do like the Upstate Elon game as well. I think that's a little bit slept on, and Campbell Charlotte as well. Can Charlotte kind of take this weekend into? I mean, if they get a big win against Campbell, that could definitely help their confidence even more. Campbell's one of the hottest teams, like we talked about, 8 straight wins. I don't see it happening, but you get them out of Bowie's Creek, maybe you can create some magic. I mean, I think certainly Charlotte being at home, they can maybe draw a bit better of a crowd, especially after a good weekend like they had against Tulane. So that's another one I'll be watching. I don't know if that's on TV yet. It didn't show. I'm sure it'll be on ESPN Plus, but certainly one.
Yeah, or Charlotte's website.
Yeah. This
Maybe-
is. Go ahead.
Maybe Reed should go to that one. Or he might be busy.
Yeah, I mean, I won't roll it out. I won't roll it out tomorrow.
You driving to Hotlanta, Tobin?
Yeah, Wednesday morning I'll be heading down to Atlanta.
Safe travel, sir. Boys, it's
Thank
sad.
you, sir.
We have 2 more weeks of midweeks. This week and
Yeah.
next week.
I know it's coming down to the wire here. These are still important though, but unless you've got, like we talked about, A&T or Presbyterian, no disrespect to them, but like those are going to get canceled here in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to have some special stuff on out for you guys as conference tournaments come closer. Maybe some conference tournament previews, quick preview episodes for each conference tournament, talking about the seeding, where teams are. So maybe have a little something special for those. Because you won't be previewing any more midweeks. We'll be doing conference tournaments, maybe a watch along, maybe a cookie eating contest watch along.
That'd be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
A watch along would be fun. I don't know what team we'd do it for. Maybe, I mean, that's something we could figure out. But I definitely think we'll pick. Maybe we could pick once we get all the conference tournaments kind of sorted, we could pick them all.
Correct. Tobin, what's the food of choice for the watch along?
You got to participate in the hot dog eating competition on IGO's podcast again.
I hope not. That was tough for my stomach. Boys, I think that'll go ahead.
Canes are in overtime, by the way, so I know what I'll be watching here after we hop off.
What's the score?
2-2.
Didn't the Fire score 2 in the first 4 minutes?
2 in the first 5 minutes and haven't scored since, so hopefully it stays that way. But this is a must-win game, I think.
Boys, when is the next Field of 64 releasing?
We'll do another one this week.
Yeah, probably Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll start, like we said, we'll have one out every week for the rest of May.
Any other lasting comments on this? Maryland Eastern Shore, anything?
No.
Certainly not on them.
I want to do it after we get off the show. I'm gonna do a deep
what
dive.
was Colby's bold prediction? Was it Western?
I think he had Wofford sweeping them, right?
I think he had a Wofford sweeping.
Or was it or did he have Western sweeping them?
Well, either way, it wasn't a sweep, but
Any bold predictions for tomorrow?
No.
Presbyterian
No,
Tennessee
it's
somehow
canceled.
doesn't get canceled. That's my bold prediction.
I mean, it'll be down in Conway, it's going to be a great atmosphere tomorrow night, I would imagine.
Oh, I got one. Queens beats Duke. Duke's been sloppy. Queens
Solid. It's solid. I got one. Actually, no, I don't. Actually, no, I don't. It's just too chalky. But boys, that'll do it. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Carolina Curveball. Braxton does a great job on TikTok as well. Follow us on Spotify, like, subscribe on YouTube as well. And boys, we will see you on Thursday to preview another weekend. Good night, folks. Thank you for listening.